guys, what's going on? Knives Illustrated magazine here, hanging out with some of the coolest cats around here, and I know you've seen their faces before, and...
Amber Hargrove, Doug Flagg,
Ken Onion over here, this guy.
in the house.
So Ken,
cool.
this is the first time I actually got to hang out with you and just get to know you as a person, and you just talking to you is inspirational all around. So,
right on, good deal.
You are definitely different than anything I've ever read on you in articles about your work and everything, but knowing you as a person, you have such a big heart, and you love to motivate people to be better than they are.
Inspire, right?
It's a big blessing.
You're going to be a bear, be a grizzly.
Oh my gosh. So,
you know, the good Lord's blessed me in so many ways, and all I want to do is just motivate other people to get off their dead ass on their dying feet and get it done. I mean, if they want it, just do it.
I've seen it.
You know,
I've
so many
watched
people
you.
have this idea that they can't, or they need to be born of wealth in order to have wealth, or they need to have some special privilege. And really all it takes is hard work and ethic and, you know, commitment.
I love it.
Passion. The biggest thing is passion.
Well, I was going to say, you're very
That's what we
passionate.
need is passion.
Because I watched you talk to, just even talking to Kayla Cummings, for example. It was really neat watching you. She lights up every time she sees you because she believes in you so much. And it's really exciting to know that, and I'm really hoping that Kayla can come out to Hawaii and just get her hands dirty with you, because she is such a phenomenal
I'll kick her ass so hard in a good way.
She needs you in her life.
Good way.
So many people look at you and they're completely inspired. So thank you for who you are as a person.
Thank you. It wasn't always like that, though.
Yeah?
Yeah, it wasn't always like that. I mean, I injured my back a long time ago. Like I said, I built my entire career disabled. You know, in the most non-business friendly state in the country.
That's crazy.
And still became top dog. But it wasn't easy. I spent years, you know, taking painkillers to deal with back pain, 13 back surgeries. I mean, a lot. There was times where I didn't want to do anything. Didn't want to get off the couch. But I made that commitment. I got off of those painkillers. I found a way just to kind of push the pain aside. You know, try to focus on other things and allowing the pain to control me.
Yep.
And about 6 months after I got off of those painkillers, I remember getting up in the morning and actually hearing the birds sing.
Oh.
You know?
Yeah. You needed that. And I look at your work and it's there.
So I feel like that passion was taken away from me for a long time. It was slowly done by the painkillers, by the pain in my back, by having all these problems, right? And I just had to take charge of me. And by doing that, you know, I learned that passion is the most incredible thing you can have. And when you can get up and you can lift your head up once in a while and just look at your surroundings and see the beauty that's around you and realize that any minute of any day, if you're not happy with your circumstance in life, you can change it. It's your choice. That's why life is so awesome and every minute is so precious.
I love that.
You know?
And when you walk around talking to people out there, the knife makers I walk up to, and they're like, oh, it's so good meeting you. And then you give them, you know, just a little bit of positivity. You're like, you know what, you're doing a great job. But this is what you need to do to be better. And I love that about you, because you want to push them to be their best.
I want to push them.
And that's your military
coming out. And I don't care if they
you.
get mad at me.
They should, you know what, they can't get mad at you. It's kind of onion telling you
they can
what
scream
you
at
need
me.
to do.
They're like, there's no way I can do that. And I'm like, yes, there is. Stop being such a baby.
I love
How
it
bad
about
do you want it?
I love it. So you were a Marine.
Yes.
How many years did you serve?
5.
5 years.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
I did not even know.
I got
I had
out.
no idea.
I wanted to make more money, but I only got in because I felt that it was my duty as a young American man to do my time for the country. Yep. It was my obligation. And that was the way I was raised, the way I thought of it, and that's the way I felt about it. And I still do.
Yep.
You know?
I know what you
still
mean.
think it's important to do your time for your country. And I did.
Didn't
want to make a career out of it. I had other things to do.
But look where you are now. I mean, like,
right?
out of everything that you've done in your life.
I would have never dreamed it.
You would have never dreamed of it. You are like, anytime people talk about being a knife maker or somebody who they want to be a part of their life, oh my gosh, what I would give to work with this person. I'm like, well, who is it? And they go, Ellen. Every single time, and I'm like, God, I just want to hug you every time I see you and be like,
I worked for years.
You inspire this community.
I worked for years as an industrial mechanic, as a machinist. I was a wrench puller. I was a blue collar, hard working construction worker. You know, and then one day I had a big giant asphalt pump dropped in my chest. You know, and I spent months out of work. I was in excruciating pain, and I was scared to death. I had 2 young kids, you know, that I had to provide for. I had a wife. I had a house that I could barely make payments on, and I felt like, what can I do? You know, what can I do to help take care of my family? I didn't want my wife to have to support me. You know, I didn't want my kids to do without because, you know, I couldn't pull it together. So, I mean, 2 days out of the hospital from back surgery, you know, in my boxer shorts and a shop apron and a walker, I'm making knives in the shop. Anything I could do to make the money that I need to just pay the mortgage, pay for the groceries, what have you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We were broke. There's a lot of people that think that Ken Onion became successful because he came from wealthy parents or somebody funded him or somebody backed him and somebody put all this money in him. It never happened that way.
Wow.
I grew up extremely poor. You know, and you know, you go out of work from a long time, and workman's comp didn't even pay you enough money to pay your mortgage. Why? You got choices to make.
That is so hard.
So you can cave, you can go into the system. You could say, oh, I'm going to go on disability, or I'm going to go on Social Security. You can take the easy way out, or you can man up.
Yep.
And that's what I did. I manned up. And then I looked for opportunities.
Oh.
You know, I was watching this show. I was eating lunch, and I was watching, I don't know, it was Maury Povich or one of those talk shows. It just happened to be on the TV. It was about young inventors. And there was this young girl who she was a pre-med student, and she went to some local store, and they were getting rid of old, expired fingernail polishes. And she got them all, and she cleaned all the bottles and emptied out all the fingernail polish and stuff, and she started mixing the colors together and came up with these crazy colors, and she came up with her own label, Hard Rock Candy. Like with the first year, she made $10 million or something like that, and she started this big brand, and I was thinking, what can I do? What can I do?
That is
you know, and then there was a story of the guy that came up with a little gluey sticky hand thing that they get out of the gumball machines, you know?
For a quarter, yep.
And he made all this money too. And it was like, it really didn't take a rocket scientist education to do that. And I was just a knucklehead redneck. But I love knives, you know? But my sensei, Stan Fujisaka, made these beautiful knives, and they were just butter silk to open.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, what can I do to make a knife smoother than Stan's? Right?
Oh.
Well, and I'm thinking, well, the only way that I can make it smoother than Stan's is to have something to help me get the blade out of there, right? So I'm thinking about this concept for a few months, and then a friend of mine comes in with a motorcycle, and she's like, can you machine down this cam? I got the wrong size cam for my Harley. Can you machine down this cam? And just the word cam came to my mind, and she said it, and it's like, cam, that's what I need. So I went over and grabbed the manila floor. I started sketching this thing out. And I finished her job, and then for the next 36 hours, I built prototypes for Speed Safe.
Oh my gosh.
And I spent a lot of money I didn't have on a patent for that thing because Stan Fujisaka, my sensei, of course, told me that I needed a patent. It was really cool. I had people offer me money for it. I had a company offer me $500,000 cash outright for it. And I couldn't even make the mortgage payments.
Oh my gosh.
And I turned them down.
Because you believed in it.
I believed
You knew
in
it was going to be great.
Yeah, I had companies say that they wanted to do it. You know, Gerber wanted to do it, and then he came back and said, "No, that's a switchblade." And then Buck said, "Oh, we want to do it too," but then their lawyers kind of advised them against it. "No, it's a switchblade." And then, you know, I get other companies that come in and they want to do it. And I just about lost hope when. Go ahead.
Doug, welcome
Thank
to
you.
the interview.
Thank you. It's great to be here. Great to be here. Yeah, so I heard about this mechanism, this custom knife maker in Hawaii that had this mechanism that was just totally cool, and I'm like, I gotta go see this thing, man. We need, you know, I'm always looking for the coolest product, and at that time I was with Kershaw, and so I took my wife, you know, it's a rough job, and I went to Hawaii, and I pulled up to Ken's shop, and here out walks a guy in boxer shorts. I'm like, oh my
I had so
god!
many back surgeries, I couldn't stand a waistband.
This was like a wasted trip. You know, this guy's not gonna have anything. You know, he's got the tattoos and the boxer shorts, and I was a little intimidated, or just, you know, I just thought this is gonna be weird. And then he invites me in, and he shows me the knife, and I'm just like, oh my god, we got to do this. We got to do this. He would never show me the internal workings.
I had safety screws on it, so there wasn't any wrenches. The
whole time. I was there like 3 or 4 days. The whole time. And
patent was pending.
you know,
You're like,
$14,600. I
Oh my
paid for a
gosh.
patent that I didn't even have the money, couldn't hardly make my mortgage payment.
Oh my
Oh
God.
my gosh.
Yeah.
And I just knew we had to do it, but he wouldn't show me how it works. But I just knew it worked, you know. So we had to do it. So we went out to. He took me to Luau. I took my wife and your wife, and we went to Luau. We drank way too many Blue Moons or whatever hurricanes or whatever they drink there in Hawaii. I don't know. It's
Mai Tais and blue
Mai
wines
Tais and
stuff,
blue
yeah.
wines. It was brutal. But
We went fishing too, but that's a different story.
yeah. We just hit it off, and you know, at that time Kershaw was small, and he could have made a lot more money with Gerber and other companies, but you know, he was going to be a part.
Gerber was number one.
Yeah, he was going to be.
I
a
could
part.
make him a bazillion dollars and he'd still be
Wow.
number one. Why would I want to go with them? I like the Cinderella story.
You do like this.
Yeah.
I want to take the guy that's rated bankrupt, that's ready to go under, that everybody canceled out, everybody quit, everybody thinks they're going under. That's the guy I wanted to go with.
That is awesome.
Because if they become number one, that's more what I was telling you about me being an asshole, right?
Yes.
If I can get them, if they can become number one, then you've done something, right? Go ahead.
So we
Sorry to
were.
interrupt.
So I go back. We decide. Okay, we're going to work with Ken Onion. We're going
What's
to
this
do all
we
this.
decide? We decide. Tell the story right. You put your job on the line. You had no permission from Pete Kershaw to come and try to recruit me for Kershaw. You had no permission from Jackie Garachi to come and recruit me for Kershaw.
Well, it was,
And that's why you're my Huckleberry to this day. I've never had anybody
Oh.
put themselves out like that for me,
Yeah.
and I'm eternally grateful.
yeah, it was. I mean, it's been awesome. You know, the relationship we have. Ken is super loyal. We have a great time. We go fishing all the time. It's been really good. So
So this is the guy that you put your
Yeah.
job on the line for. You go to Hawaii, quit your other job.
No, tell her the real story about when I finally get the Kershaw. Do it.
about
Do it.
what part of that?
About how
He goes, what
this
part?
one
So-
didn't like this one.
Well, no, the best. Before we get to there, we're doing all the legal stuff, and Ken is not quick to sign legal documents. He's super careful. We finally signed at the 98 Blade Show, the morning of the show.
Yeah, but I'd been working with Kershaw already. Tell them about how you got me in with Kershaw.
Oh.
Remember, you put your job on the line for me, and then you brought me to Oregon, and nobody knew I was coming, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I brought him
How
in.
did I get the contract
Yeah.
with Kershaw?
So at that time, Kershaw had not worked with outside designers at all, and they had engineers in Japan, and Igarashi-san did not want to work with outside designers, and Pete Kershaw did not want to work with designers. So it wasn't planned or anything, but I got those two believing
They
in it.
hated each other.
Oh my gosh.
Pete Kershaw hated Jackie Garachi, and Jackie Garachi hated Pete Kershaw.
So it was like
So
you
that's why I
said,
said
yeah.
say the real story.
So we get in the meeting, and they're both fighting each other to bring Ken on. And
Yeah, they're both saying,
that's
no, we need to bring him on. I don't care what you say. We need to bring him on because blah, 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 blah. And the other one's saying, I don't care what you say. We need to bring him in.
Oh my
We need to bring him
god.
in. And Doug and I are sitting across the table going,
I can imagine that feeling sitting there.
and then they're like, what's it going to take, Ken? What's it going to take for you to come in and work with us? And I'm like, well, I want this. I don't want that. I don't want this. I don't want that. I don't want this. I don't want that. I don't want this. I don't want that. And they said, okay.
They just said okay,
Okay,
and it
they
was
said
great.
So now, enter Blade Show.
Then we get the Blade Show. We sign the morning of the show. We enter one of Ken's random tasks into the Blade Show, and we went overall knife of the year. And then,
You won Knife of the Year for '98.
Kershaw hadn't really ever won any awards. We won
my
American Made Knife of the
gosh.
Year. But overall Knife of the Year.
overall knife of the year.
Overall knife of the year.
I think. I can't remember
I think
exactly,
so.
but we won.
Wow.
And then it set off a whirlpool because everybody's seen that mechanism. And of course, a lot of people are like, that's a switchblade knife. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, based on your extensive legal background, you're not a lawyer. What the hell do you know about
Yeah.
the law? It doesn't meet the definition that's contained in the criminal code. And it's a foundational entity. There's no knife that's ever been designed that was a semi-automatic. It was either automatic or it was manual. There's nothing that ever came out in 400 years. It was in between.
That's true. Yeah.
So it's completely foundational. There's no case law. And the law states that a knife that opens via button spring or other mechanism contained in a handle, well, that's the definition of a switchblade. Well, you're not pushing a button spring or other mechanism in a handle to open these knives. You're applying manual pressure
Yep.
to a thumb stud or opening lug, which was the definition of a one-handed knife by law.
Yeah.
So it wasn't illegal. So everybody's opinion didn't mean shit. You know, it's because they weren't lawyers. They didn't know the law. So We had so many people who wanted this
Oh
knife.
man.
Kershaw was they were close to bankruptcy
Oh my gosh.
at that point. I mean, they were really in debt. The factory was a couple of people.
Yeah, it was small.
Couple
Very
of
small.
people.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't think there was a dozen people in the factory. Almost no equipment. People were building one knife at a time
Oh my gosh,
from the
that must
ground
have
up.
been like
It was
taking
crazy,
forever,
right? And now you're getting orders for like 20 and 30,000 knives at a time, you know, and they're gotta have to spool up. They have to build equipment. They have to buy stuff. They have to ramp up. My goodness, it was a crazy thing.
Yeah, it was fun.
That is
Yeah.
insane to be a part of something like that.
Well,
by
in
the time.
8 years, the growth was spectacular. You know, it was all the debt was paid. There was they had over 200 employees. It's like $50-60 million company. I don't even remember. It's huge. It was just the growth was spectacular.
Yeah.
So the cool thing was this. You were talking about all those magazines you see where Ken Onion,
Yep,
right?
every magazine
Well,
has your name in
it
it.
woke up the industry. Like the knife industry was kind of dead before that. There was no technology coming out. It was all the same stuff, different color, different shape. It was all kind of the same things. I mean,
Yeah.
the coolest thing in the market was the liner lock,
Oh, yeah.
right? I mean, which it's a lock, right?
Yeah.
It was cool, don't get me wrong, but it was the lock. It wasn't really great, you know. It wasn't anything that kind of set the world on fire. Now, everybody was restricted from having a switchblade knife, could have a quasi-switchblade, kind of,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You know, or a semi-automatic, and it was the coolest things.
It's a wow factor.
Which for the
But-
next 10 years, next 20 years, really, the 10 years, is set the knife industry on fire. And everybody was trying to come up with some kind of an assist or some kind of invention or some kind of a gadget. So if you look at that time after SpeedSafe debuted, you will see that the knife industry exploded.
Oh my gosh.
It exploded. And companies were coming up with all kinds of new gadgets and widgets and inventions and cool contraptions. Because that's what sparked the fire. SpeedSafe did. Before that, it was all asleep. Am I correct?
Yeah, it's right on.
So I feel like the growth of the knife industry is in great part
Yeah.
because of the assisted opening.
Oh, big
And
time.
I'm incredibly proud of that.
You should be.
So I've been put on this platform as a result of these things. And I'm like, well, I'm just a dumb redneck. You know, if I can do this thing, anybody can.
With
So I have all
everything
these
you-
young guys
yeah.
coming up to me and talking to me about like, man, I want that Ken Onion money. I want to be successful like Ken Onion. It's like, well, what are you doing to accomplish it? You know, well, I don't know if I can, and I can't do it. Well, I just did it. And the first thing I tell them is like, dude, you
How
got to get
can
rid of
you?
negativity.
Yep.
You can't have any negativity in your life. Get rid of it.
Yep.
Just don't allow, control your brain. So many of us allow our brains to run amok, right?
Yeah.
And our brain kind of controls the way we feel for the day or what we think of the day or where we're going to go. You take control of your brain and you don't allow negativity in your head.
Yep.
If it gets in there for a second and you're like, oh, I don't feel very, stop it right there.
Yep.
Change the narrative. Focus on positive things. Don't doubt yourself. Recite those mantras. Mantras are great. It's your time.
Yep.
It's your time. Nobody deserves it more than you. How bad do you want it? What are you willing to do to get it?
Yep.
That's not saying that anybody deserves it less. That's just saying nobody deserves it more than you.
Yep.
Take it.
I think the
Seize
hardest
that
thing,
moment.
the biggest thing we see people is they're so hard on themselves. Like I watch a lot of knife makers and they do like beads, and they're so hard on themselves, and sometimes they forget to believe in themselves
That's
and
what
why
the
they're
whole thing
doing it.
is.
I mean, like for me, I give myself a whiteboard and I have my motivational factors, and that's my visual board, and I know exactly what I want, and I'm a very positive person. And people say you're just so positive all the time. I don't know how
have
you
to
do it. I'm
be.
like, you know what? Out of everything I've been in my life, I am grateful to be where I'm at, and I believe in myself. I believe in these people, these makers. I believe in them, and they're like, "Oh, you're just so nice here." I'm like, "Because I believe in you. I've watched you come from nothing, and then
Right.
look what you have brought to this
And
knife
it can't be a
community."
false thing. It has to be genuine. You have to
Yes.
tell yourself it enough that you believe it.
Yep.
And you can't allow doubt in your world. And when there is something that doesn't necessarily go your way, I mean, just about anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Tell a different story.
There you go. Make it create your
Tell
own
a
story.
different story.
Yep.
You know, this thing might have happened, and it might have slowed things down for a second, but it was a teaching. It was a learning time. You know, focus on the lesson. Focus on the teaching. Move forward with passion.
Yep.
Move forward with purpose. Move forward with energy. Inspire others. You know, that's what
I
it
love
takes.
that.
You have to be that. There's so many businesses that fail. There's so many things that fail because of doubt. It's not because
Oh,
the
big
person
time.
doesn't have the ability. Either they don't have the passion or they doubt.
That's a good
They
point.
question themselves. You have to believe in yourself. Stay positive.
And another thing is,
That don't mean you have to be obnoxious.
well, you don't be obnoxious, but the thing is surrounding yourself with good people that believe in you as
Very
well
important.
is huge.
Very
I mean, because
important.
you can inspire anybody. You can push people to the next level. Like, I love motivating people.
Yeah.
I love getting them excited. Like, you should do this. This is why you should do this. You're this, this, and this, and this. And they're like, you're just so positive. I was like, yeah, because I know what it feels like to have somebody believe in me and go out there and accomplish my 40-day challenge. You know, I had nobody around me believe me that I can do it, but you know who did? I believed in myself.
That's
and
the
I
most
did it.
important
In
thing.
the mindset.
That's the most important
my
person.
drive was on it. And
Yeah.
that's all I needed.
You weren't doing it for everybody else. You were doing it
No!
for you.
I did it
Right?
for myself. And
Yeah.
I even told the camera that. I said, you know what? I did this for myself because I believe in me. But
I
I
have
see.
mad respect for you, and I have mad respect for that show.
Oh my
Because I
gosh.
understand what it takes to just eat that shit for so long, to embrace the suck.
Yeah.
You know?
And then when you take the suck and then you
whole-
make it to be amazing, and then you're like, this is my home.
It's perspective,
It's like,
isn't
you
it?
got it. Yes.
If you allow your head to focus on that negativity and that hunger and that suffering and those bug bites and all that stuff, you're going to drive yourself crazy.
Oh, yeah.
When you find that zen,
Yep.
when you find that peace, when you find that calm, and you just accept and you embrace and you become one with, why, of course, now you can accomplish anything.
Yep.
It's perspective. It's learning how to control
Your
this
mind.
demon.
Yep.
This thing here that controls
You could
so
be your worst
many
enemy.
people.
You could be your worst enemy. And
I'm
people,
confident.
I've seen some knife makers stop making knives. And I'll write them on Instagram, like, what are you doing? And they're like, I'm just really struggling right now. I just don't think I'm going to be able to do this and make it in the world. I'm like, stop. Write down why you started it. What drives you every day to wake up, go out there, I'm like, I'm going to make the next best knife because I want to do this for myself. I want to make a knife for myself. And it's, you know, you just want to give that love to somebody. And I watched you talk to these knife makers, and I was like, it was inspiring just to hear you talk to people. They believe in you, and you believing in them makes them
Why
light
can't
up.
you? Why can't
They
you?
light up
What's
when you
holding
talk
back?
to them, Ken. Like, you're like, you know what, you need to do this and this, and they're like, I got this.
Yeah.
They need you. So I'm really glad that you're in this knife community. Even it's a small community, even though it seems really large in some aspects of fans, but the knife makers itself is kind of small. But when they have you to inspire them, it goes on for days for
Wow.
them. They
I love
it.
this house, right? I mean, this industry really embraced me. And, you know, I'm getting older. There is a time when I may not be able to do this. And I want to make sure that anything, that my time here is well spent. That it's left in better hands. You know, that the love and respect and the paying it forward and the helping and the mentoring and the polishing and the guiding continues when I'm no longer there. Maybe these young guys or these young girls will say, you know what, that was really good when Ken pulled me aside and he believed, or Ken taught me how to do this. And then all they have to do is see this next person that's trying to do it too, right?
Yep.
And they remember that and they're just going to say, come on,
Yep.
I got you. You got this.
They
You
need
know,
that.
and they'll say, it's my time, right?
I love that.
Nobody deserves it more than you do.
Yep. They need to hear that more. I love that. Cannot
What do you
believe
want
I've
to do
never.
to get it?
I know, I've never got a chance to actually sit and talk to you and know you as a person. And I'm like, as soon as we started talking, I'm like, you're amazing. You're like this bright
thank
light
you.
that inspires people, and
I
it's
just-
exciting.
I wanted that so much when I was young, when I was getting into the game. Of course, I had my fears. I was disabled. I was 100% disabled, the most non-business friendly
Thank you.
state in the country, you know? I had 2 little kids that needed food, and they needed somebody to take care of them. I had a wife that was counting on me.
Yep.
You know, I had to perform. I could have folded. I could have gone on food stamps. I could have gone on Social Security. I could have gone on disability. I
But
told
look what
everyone.
you did.
You know what they tried to do is they tried to get me to take disability. And I told them
Good. Because you're meant for
I'll do
higher
it on my
calling
own.
is what happens.
they acted like they were doing me a favor, and that made me so angry.
Oh my God.
Like, you keep your money.
Well, I'm just glad that you believe in yourself, and what you have brought to this community has changed so many people's lives. And Ken,
If I can do it with all
that's
the
what I'm
odds stacked
saying. You
against
can do
me,
it. Anybody
can
There's
do it.
no excuses.
Perfect. That's it.
Makers, if you're out there watching this, and if you forget to believe in yourself, remember who you are and push that drive.
You can do it.
Yes, you can.
It's your time. Nobody deserves it more than you. What are you willing to do to get it? How hard are you willing to work? Go out there and make it yours. Doug Flagg, Amber, Ken Onion, out.